Chelsea Face Reads here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I wanted to quickly talk to you about all of the books and manga that I read in the month of June 2025. I didn't read a ton this month just because this is one of the busiest months of my entire year every year. So it's going to be a pretty quick video, but I hope that you'll still like, comment, and subscribe for more manga and bookish content from me. Also, I did just get out of the shower, so I'm clean, but I am a little weird looking, so please forgive me. But I am going to get started on all of the things that I read this month. The first thing I read this month is Why Reliana Ended Up at the Duke's Mansion. This is a manhwa by Whale, original story by Milka, M-I-L-C-H-A. I loved the anime for this. I watched this probably over a year ago, and then I just recently, like this past month, watched it again. I'm obsessed with the anime. I love the voice actors they chose. I love the idea of this. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a person who typically goes for stories set in the time period like this, where there's like dukes and royalty and these kinds of clothing choices. I just don't typically reach for those because it just doesn't seem like something I would be into, like a historical romance. But I'm finding more often than not that I actually am finding things about the series I like despite that. So I think I need to give more of these chances, and I'm obsessed with this one. I did purchase volume 2 already. It's on the way here, so I'll be sure to show you that when it gets here in a vlog, in a haul, I mean. But this was really fun. If you don't know, this is a story about a girl who essentially is isekai'd into this book that she's read. So she knows what's going to happen, or is supposed to happen, and so she's trying to prevent her own death because she does die as a character in the book. There's like a romance in here. It's really good. There's a lot of tension between the two main characters, and I love it a lot. The next thing I read is Tiger and Dragon. This is by Mizuki Hoshino. And I liked this. It wasn't phenomenal. Like, I can't remember every single detail about it. It didn't stick out that much in my mind, but it is enough for me to want to continue it. I think it's supposed to be a pretty short series, but it's about this girl here who she has this childhood crush. They say they're gonna get together when they're older, when they're really little, like young kids. So they're like childhood love, you know. And he moves away, and then she is like pining over him, missing him, loving him for all these years. And then finally one day when she's in high school, she says, I'm gonna move on and I'm gonna date this guy. Well, then he shows up next door. So it's gonna be a love triangle. It's really cute. I enjoyed it a lot. It's not like shining uniqueness to me, but it is still something that I like to read, so I will be continuing it. I also read Sand Chronicles. This is by Hinako Ashihara. I really liked this first volume. I checked it out from my local library as a recommendation from someone here on YouTube. It's gonna have its own first impressions, so I won't go too deep into the details for it. I really enjoyed this. It was really sad. It was really powerful. I can tell that this series is gonna tackle some very serious and hard subjects, but I do really love the friendship in this. It's really cute, and I think there's a romance gonna happen, and no telling what kind of tragedies, but I do highly recommend it if you're interested. Next up, I read Villains Are Destined to Die, Volume 1. This is also a manhwa. It is by Suol and Guan Gyosue. This was one that is highly recommended by Cake Tins here on YouTube, and I've been wanting to check it out for ages, but the price tag on it has kind of put me away because manhwa is just so expensive. But I tried it from the library, which I highly recommend doing if you're curious about a series that's just too expensive for your taste buds. This was great. I have got to pick this up physically. I'm addicted to it. I immediately was like, when can I get volume 2? And unfortunately, my library doesn't have volume 2 or even 3. They've got like 2 other random volumes out there, but I don't want to skip, of course. Just an otome game with this villainess girl who is isekai'd into this game, and she has to stay alive and not die like the villainess would, and so she's got to romance one or more of the characters. So that's just right up my alley. I'm so excited to finally read this. I've just heard such great things from her. The art's gorgeous. I do a first impressions of this in another video that I'm going to upload soon, so I don't want to go into too much detail, but I will be continuing, so it was a good time. Next up, the only thing I read that's left was also a book. This is Welcome to the Hyunam Dong Bookshop by Hwangbo Rim. This is a translated Korean novel, and it's about a lady who, she goes through a lot. She has a lot of things that she's dealt with recently in her life. And so she decides to just drop everything she's doing. She gets a divorce and she opens up a bookshop, and it's in a neighborhood that's not like typical. It doesn't make sense to really open a bookshop there, but she's just so bound by its charm that she falls in love with the location, and she ends up hiring a guy to do her coffee shop inside the bookshop. And she slowly establishes herself as a bookseller in a bookstore locally, and then she becomes fairly wide known because she gets interviewed and she brings in people. She does things that aren't typical of bookstores. She's very active on social media, and it's just a really good look at a independent bookstore and how it's ran and ways that you can make it better and more homey and more of a community instead of just a retail store that people come in and go out and never come back. So it's a really beautiful tale following her. I like this. It was very cozy. It was very pretty to read. It was very well translated, I think, but I don't think it's like exciting. So if you're someone who needs like a very high stakes or a very go 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 kind of book, or a romance or something heavy, this isn't necessarily going to be that. There are heavy discussions made by like divorce and, you know, parents expecting a lot of you from a professional and school perspective. That's a big discussion within this from several different characters. It's not going to be something that I think would trigger anybody, but it is really, really good. It's just not phenomenal, if that makes sense. It's a cozy read, a very sweet read. I'm glad I read it. Picked it up from my local indie bookstore, but I don't know who I would recommend this to unless you're someone who just needs something comforting and easy and you like the idea of running your own bookstore, because I think this could have some very helpful information to you if you really were interested in doing that one day. It made me want to go work at the bookstore. So yeah, I do recommend. I think I gave it 3.5 stars, maybe 4, depending on what I was feeling when I actually left the Goodreads review. It was a good time. It was a long read for me because it wasn't just that captivating that I just kept reading it. But I did take a few breaks and read some manga in between the pages. So I hope that you'll check this one out if that sounds like something you're into. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it was interesting. Maybe you got some ideas for some reads that you want to check out. Please remember to leave your manga recommendations or your book recommendations in the comments below if you know my tastes and you're thinking there's something that I might be interested in reading. I love getting recommendations from you guys. But yeah, I hope you will like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!